place I've ever been.
Hello guys, welcome back to another lovely trading video. In this one we're still doing the strategy building kind of / recap series, and we took 2 trades today, both actually losers, but as you can see it was quite controlled. We didn't take too much of a loss on either one, which is a good thing to see, so I'm not too sad over those losses. So we'll go over I guess LKCO first, because that was our bigger loser, and this, if I was actively watching, wouldn't have been a trade. So you can see what happened here is, what happened here is, this is when I put my order in. It looked like we broke through and looked like we were going to break into the next deviation. Didn't end up ever actually pulling back to the 70 or 80 cents, $2.80. So what ended up happening is I just never got fooled. Went through here, went to that next deviation, and this is where I should have actually been shorting. Don't believe we could have shorted this stock there. I believe it was not even, there was no shares, it's just not a stock you can short. Yeah, just not shortable. And then yeah, we ended up getting caught on this long here because our order was already out. However, actually, saying that now, it probably wouldn't have been a bad entry. Again, we need to still do more testing on this, but need to kind of see when it's a good time to go long on these deviations. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's something we'll have to do more testing on, and that's what I'm doing a lot of the time now, is going over to my gap scanner, and when I'm about to leave for the day, is I will just put in all the support and resistance lines. As I say that, this one doesn't have any, but I think AEI did it on, so then I can come back at the end of the day. I swear I put lines on AEI, so yeah, I did. So I can come back at the end of the day, see how they reacted between these levels, and that's, I guess, the main thing I'm trying to do now, because I just want to see how it's reacting to these levels. And then, okay, we'll go over AVXL. This one kind of worked. You can see we sold out some for a win, and then stopped out on the rest. So with this, we were trying to wait for it to push into this 28.35, and we were going to short this area. Didn't quite make it and ended up pulling back. So we went long. Again, it didn't even touch a deviation, so we need to see if that's a good common sense area to go long. As I'm just trying to sort out more, I know when to be shorting these stocks and stopping out. It's more the long bias of these trades I need to really hammer down on and improve on, and that's the main thing I'm spending most of my time now. I'm not looking at too many shorts, I'm looking at taking long trades, get used to how these stocks react to these deviations on a long bias way, because I only used to trade these penny stocks short. Actually, well, this isn't penny stock, but small cap stocks, I guess. So yeah, we went long in this area here. We traced back to the 50, and that's near enough exactly where we locked in those 50 shares. Then we had a break-even stop near enough, and then it ended up breaking down, and we got stopped out near the bottom of this move. So that's again something I'm going to analyze more on how to get out of these trades. So on this, I mean, my bigger price target was all the way up to 28.35. Obviously that was quite ambitious, and why I tried to lock in some money across the way. But I guess where I would have probably looked in the majority on this trade is VWAP. That's what the main thing I was looking for. And risk to reward was quite good. I mean, we had a stop literally around, well, when we first got into the trade, I believe it was just below. So I believe it was 24.95 we had our original stop. Then once we got into the trade and it was hitting, I think once we looked in profits, we then just moved it to near enough a break-even stop. So it wouldn't turn into a big red trade if it turned into a loser. But yeah, so I definitely need to analyze how we can get out these trades a bit better. One thing I don't want to do, as I used to do that quite a lot, is have it turn to break even as soon as we lock in profits like here or something, because then you do just get stopped out more often than not. So it's definitely not something I want to do. I want to kind of just analyze in a way where, like on these kind of moves, when is it most likely going to fail? Like if it closes back below the 9, is it probably going to fail? Because I don't know, it's just something I'll have to analyze over time. But yeah, I guess we were looking for mainly the VWAP move and then up to this deviation if we could move that whole way. But risk to reward on this trade was pretty good, and especially if we did it come up to this 28.35, which I mean would have been hard, but not out of the picture. But I mean our risk to reward on that would have been literally a 10 to 1 or so. So it's definitely a thing to keep an eye on. I'll quickly update you on my swing because Delta's doing pretty well. We're up now around 25% on this position. Again, reason for entries was because you can see Delta coming into the bottom first deviation on the long-term chart, so it made sense to sell some cash secure puts, wait for the long move. It's currently coming into the $50 EMA resistance, so hopefully we can break through this in the 200, and then we should have quite an easy movement up to this $50 and $47 area. That's when we're going to be looking to lock in the first set of profits around the 47 area, just as a heads up if you are in the similar trade. But yeah, so right now again we're focusing more on long biased versions of the trade. So while markets are open, I'm setting up all the deviations which it's close to and make it intraday. Then I can come back once market's closed or during lunch or whenever, and you just kind of analyze how the stocks move within these deviations, because I said that's the main thing we're focusing on now, just seeing how it reacts, how we can trade these on a long bias way. And also when I also say talk about it in a long bias way, it can also be a way to see when we can trade not just the pullbacks but trade the breakouts out of these deviations. So you'll see on LKCO, we tested this deviation the first time, failed. We've tested it the second time, failed, and then the third time finally broke through. One thing I do want to kind of be testing is how to know when to break through. So I would never go long bias on the first break, even if it did end up going to like 285 or something, because the risk to reward just isn't there for me. However, it does make more sense going into the second or third try of it, because then it's more likely to break through. So that's something I need to see research more into, if it's more likely to break through on the second or third, and kind of where I can place these stops. If it's literally just I can have quite a tight stop if we're looking to break here, have a stop at below the entry, and if so we would have got stopped out, but not by much. I mean here, what we could have got stopped out with, you know, 5 cents. I mean that's barely anything. Even if we're on, even with 1,000 shares, it's only $50 compared to the reward, which, you know, was near 200 or so dollars. And again, this time it broke through. So again, where we need to think about where we would place its stop. Would it make sense to just place it at the low of this candle, or give it a few more cents down to the bottom of this kind of bigger move? But again, that's things we're going to have to research, will take time, and we will continue over that. But that's it for the video. I'll be back tomorrow with another recap. Not really doing the morning calls anymore, just as a heads up. If you ever need the news, it's always in the Discord and a summarized kind of post on Instagram, but they just don't get many views. I'm guessing many people don't want them, so there's just not really much point of me doing it in the morning, because it is kind of time consuming as I'm waiting for the market to open. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like and subscribe, and that's it. Peace.